to show you the willpower, I stopped at the store and I got 2 candy bars. I went through my day. I was in the car for a good bit of the day and I didn't touch them.
Really?
I don't know when the last time I just carried candy bars around in my vehicle and was driving in it for an extended period of time at all and then didn't consume them.
Let me answer your question. The last time that you did exactly that was never. The story you just told me shocked me, and we've been together 7 months trying to lose 110 pounds. So if you're able to surprise me with that, it means it's never happened. 19.5 pounds away from your all-time high. I'm going to break down month by month what we've achieved over the past 7 months. This is the 7th month anniversary.
Wow.
7 months of meeting, 28 weeks. This is week 28. You started out at 354.6 pounds. And first month, you lost 13.5 pounds. The second month, you lost 6.9 pounds. The third month, you lost 5.9 pounds. Fourth month, you lost 2.1 pounds. Do you notice a trend?
Yeah.
The next month, you lost 2 pounds. The next month, you gained 2.8 pounds. And this last month, you gained 8.2 pounds. You flipped the 2.8 around from last month, and you gained 8.2 pounds this past month. So 13.5 lost, 6.9 lost, 5.9 lost, 2.1 lost, 2 lost, 2.8, 8.2. This is consistently going in a certain direction month after month after month after month. And it coincides with the external factors in your life. Things were very stable the first half of this, where you lost the bulk of the weight. Then things started to get erratic the past couple months, and you started to gain weight. It's very consistent with a stress eating mechanism when you're going to encounter obstacles in life, and then food is going to be the source of comfort. And it has been the past 2 months, no doubt about it, based on the numbers. So this past week, last week, you lost 1.2 pounds. That was the only week the past month that you lost weight. You gained 4.6 the first week of the month, then 2.8 weight gain the second week. You lost 1.2 last week. That was turning point. And then this week, another turning point, you gained 2 pounds. So tell me about this week. How does this week compare to last week? I know, and I also, in answering that question, I want you to put, when you stepped on the scale this morning, did you think, based on what happened the past week, that you deserved to lose weight? Based on your behavior alone. I'm not talking about whether or not you deserve to lose weight, because you deserve to lose weight every week. There's no doubt about that. But whether, based on your behavior, when you stepped on that scale, did you think, yeah, I think I'm going to at least maintain my weight. I'm not going to add 2 pounds. I'm going to at least be at a 0, or maybe drop a little, maybe, if I'm lucky. How did you feel when you stepped on the scale, and what happened this past week?
I did not anticipate gaining 2 pounds. I would have predicted within a pound either direction. And so what happened this week, I started off with a bang. My daughter's birthday.
What kind of bang?
Well, my daughter's birthday. She celebrated her birthday, her 5th birthday. So, that's a big to do.
Understandable. That's understandable. I give you a pass.
Thank you. But at the same time, I mean, I really did enjoy, but at the same time, in moderation. I did. I felt like, And then this week, accumulating some good news on the job front and all that other stuff. Like I've actually, it's been trending better, I feel like, in a lot of ways. Like I've been under control more. There's a couple other factors that I'm going to ask you about to see if they could possibly be throwing things off. But like mentally, I'm actually good right now.
Okay,
And
good.
like, I don't like better than I would ever have been seeing the number go up the way it did. I'm like
Mhm.
I'm not thrown off. I'm okay. I actually feel like I'm ready to attack next week already. But
Well, this is
go
why
ahead.
I asked what I asked. I asked what I asked specifically for that. I wanted to know whether or not the behavior this week justified the number, because you can have, if you're in a maintenance phase, which you are right now for the most part, you're really not looking to make any magnificent progress during this transitionary period in your life. So if you're looking at that number as being maintenance and you happen to gain a pound or two, it could be a water weight fluctuation difference. Maybe the last week you ended up having less water weight than you did this week. It could be. It's obviously not going to trend up week after week.
Right.
If we're having 5 weeks from now, if you're 10 pounds heavier, right? It wasn't. Haven't been 5 water
Not
weight
water.
fluctuations in a row. Okay.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
know full well, though, 1 week means absolutely nothing when you're talking a couple pounds for a 335-pound body. That's virtually meaningless when you're trying to maintain. We're in that maintenance phase that you're in now. Right now, you're not doing anything to really try and lose weight. You're not being strict on the diet during the weekdays. So ultimately, in that mid 330s is what you would expect to be. 333 to 336, somewhere in there, right in that range, sticking in that range. Some weeks a little bit more, some weeks a little bit less. If you're maintaining, that's not going to be just a constant 333.2 pounds like it was last week. You could have a 335, you could have a 334, you could have a 336, you could have a 333. You could bounce around 2 or 3 pounds,
Yeah.
as long as the trend is not upward week after week. Then we know full well that you're pretty much balancing out in terms of what it is that you're doing on a weekly basis to just maintain where you're at.
Yeah. So the other factor that I wanted to touch base on was the scale itself.
Mm-hmm.
As you may have noticed in the pictures, been rocking at the beginning of the whole process. I might have started with the white scale. It kind of went on the fritz, and then it's a similar model, but I upgraded to the black scale that I'm using now, and then or have been using, and now that one has a battery situation. So the last 2 weigh-ins, I've been on a different scale, the old one again. So I don't know if that plays any role at all. I'm happy to go out and get batteries and get that other one going if you think it might do me.
Do you feel? Do you do you feel one's more reliable than the other, or is it that you have
the number?
Do you have sentimental attachment to the
No.
weight scale that
I could
helped you lose 230, whatever your maximum weight loss was?
It does have good vibes. I appreciate good vibes, but at the same time, I'm not overly partial, other than the fact that I do think the black one is more reliable. The one I've been doing the most of this.
Yeah.
And it's like it
I think
stays.
it's a good idea to.
If I step on it twice, it's going to give me the same number. If I step on it 3 times, it's going to give me the same number. If I step on the white one twice, it's going to give me 2 different numbers.
So, sometimes, if we were designing a weight scale, we would have.
This doesn't sound good. I know
talking
too
about
well.
You and I. We would have a built-in feature that would remember the most recent step if it was within a certain period of time,
to keep people from losing their mind.
Try and duplicate that for every successive step, as long as it's within a 5-minute period.
Yeah,
that's what I would do if I were designing a scale. I would insert the underhanded feature so that way I would have 100% accuracy. I don't know if that scale has that feature or not, because
it very well may.
You're saying is replicating itself on the dot, like to the 10th, every single time you step on it. It could actually be programmed to take that first figure and give you the same figure as long as you keep stepping on that scale within a 2-minute, 3-minute period, whatever it may be. before it would change, before it would recalculate what it would actually be.
So
that's
it's
a
really just
possibility.
the scale's intelligent.
Yes, it's a possibility. I don't know that it has that feature. If it doesn't have that feature, it's amazingly accurate scale that I give it 100% credit for designing something that is space age technology that it has for what. And I'm sure you didn't
I'm
pay
not
an
a
arm and a
space
leg
age
for it
budget
either.
kind of guy at this point in my
No,
life. So
you're not.
I'm
I didn't-
thinking
I
that
didn't think
it
so.
is probably just, some knockoff that somehow has the wherewithal to just repeat the same number back to you to keep you from losing your mind, and more importantly for them to keep their reputation of having
Well, the
accurate
question is,
scales out there.
yes, I think it. Well, the question is the other scale company hiring? Because I think maybe we could consult for an exorbitant fee and give them
That's
some
great.
advice.
That's amazing.
On their
That's
next
amazing.
model, if you know
They
what I
should
mean.
really upgrade their yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean,
I believe so.
ultimately, it sounds like you're saying go ahead and get the batteries to the black one and start getting back with the black one.
Yeah, you've been
Just-
using
but
that
don't
most
expect-
of the time. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I like what the black one was delivering here. I'm looking at the majority of these numbers, especially in the first half, and I'm like, yeah, let's go back as quickly as we can. So
Okay.
I do like the prospects of that. Everything in your favor, man. I'm in your corner. So let's get the batteries in that one. Let's shine it up real nice and start using that from now on.
I like it. Okay. What else? Let's see. Oh, I mean, good news. Yesterday, Thursday, right? I, by no stretch did I have a perfect day, during the week. Like I wasn't even shooting for no carb. I was mindful, but at the same time, like letting it, be what it's going to be. I wasn't trying to be dumb. I wasn't trying to be psycho, but I was definitely thoughtful in what I was doing, in regulating the portions, the choices. I mean, everything. So my mind was about me the whole week, to the point where I kind of feel like it's one of those things where it might be a false high number, but
Maybe
I'm not banking all my life on it. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. I'm not going to stress out. If I come back gaining 2 pounds next week, I'm going to probably be a little bit more upset. You know what I mean? Just like you were saying. But I think,
as will I.
yeah, I'm sure. So I'm in a decent place, and I actually, to show you the willpower, I actually bought.
You're going to show me the willpower?
Well, I'm going
to show it to me.
I'm going to illustrate it with my story. Okay. This is a quick anecdote about what I experienced this week. One day, yesterday, something that unprecedented. Okay, I bought in the morning. I stopped at the store, and I got 2 candy bars, and I carried them.
What were they?
Whatchamacallit?
Shall I guess? A whatchamacallit. Very good choice.
Yeah, king size. Yeah,
endorse that.
Yeah, thank you. So maybe they can do a sponsorship for it. But
you do realize, just reminding you that while you were visiting me, you introduced me to the whatchamacallit. I have had it before, but it's been many years, and I'm infatuated with it. It's
a life changer, isn't it?
It's probably the best one that I've had so far. If you can beat the whatchamacallit, I might be in trouble.
Yeah.
because it was that good that even though I haven't had any since you left, it's not like I haven't thought about it. So
wow, that's really doing something. So but dude, I went through my day. I was in the car for a good bit of the day, and I didn't touch them yesterday.
Really? You mean they were with you the entire time? And when did you buy them? Around what time?
9 in the morning.
Oh, So they were with you the whole day, pretty much, almost.
Yeah.
And you didn't? Were you tempted to touch them, or do more than touch them?
In the morning, when I got that, I got, where did I get it? I got something for breakfast, a biscuit or something, and did the whole, like just had one half of the biscuit part, got the protein.
Yeah.
So I satisfied myself, and then, right afterwards, that urge after the meal, that urge for like candy or like something sweet, it kind of kicks in naturally for me at this point in my life. Like it seems to. I've observed, like, if there's a candy bar there, I will rock that at the end of the meal. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, I'll just want to indulge at that point, just because why not? You know what I'm saying? Like that's my sick mindset. And then I'll feel full and like I'm satisfied for the moment, right?
Yeah.
But yesterday, I literally asked for help on that regard, and like I was tempted. The first hour, I was tempted just out of habit, but I actually asked for help, and I received it, man. Like I stayed busy. I just stayed busy. I was physically active. Basically walking for an hour, and like by that point, like I wasn't needing it. So,
wow.
Like I feel like the challenge of the candy bars, it's starting to be regulated pretty well. More than
I think you just
more than I felt like it would be.
More than what?
More than I would predict at this point 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh, for sure. Especially under the circumstances that you're in.
Yeah.
Maybe if things were stable and you were on a regular schedule, then it would be something that you could feasibly try to accomplish. But under the circumstances, it would seem like it would be an impossibility, given the fact that that's what you always gravitate to every single time that you get weak on food. It's get my hands on those candy bars.
Yeah.
And they're portable. You can take them anywhere you go. They're easily consumable no matter where you're at. What you did prove by doing this, one, you're capable of more than you have given yourself credit for when you put forth the effort, when it becomes a priority. And two, notice how when you got through that initial hour, as you said, you were thinking about it, there was some temptation there, but you asked for help. And then you went on with your day, and then you didn't feel like you needed it anymore. If you get through that period, or when the catalyst hits you, that this is something you want to do, that this is something, a distraction that you want to take part in, and you're able to stop yourself and decide to go in a different direction, the momentum of going in that direction starts to build. And then you feel as if you're capable of continually moving away from what it is that you were going to do. So you changed course. You could have gone and had the candy bar like you always did, but you stopped yourself. Took a little while. You asked for help, and then when you started to say, "I'm going to go on with my day. I'm going to keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing without this," you built up the tolerance to be able to accomplish that. So
it was.
You actually get stronger.
That's how I feel. Yeah, I agree. I think that's what happened. Like, I think it's easier trying to get away from that bad habit. It's probably easier weaning myself off of that by giving myself a little bit of slack in other areas, like with the other meals, not being on the hyper focus level of keeping it low, like 0 carbs basically for most of my meals. Like instead I've built, I've been having meals where they're including, and they're like legitimate meals that are including somewhere between 30 and 80 probably carbs, like twice a day. And So like
Mhm.
that by itself would be like tops 2 candy bars. And I was rocking 4 or 5 at times, not every day, but like,
Yes, plus your
uh, you
yeah.
know, so even in, I think maybe even in weeks where I had success, for like a day or two. So but like, I think the candy bars are definitely like, something that needed to be cleared as far as a hurdle. And like, I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna eat candy bars again, but like, I definitely feel like yesterday I exerted a level of control that I have not in a long time. And I mean, like, I don't know when the last time I just carried candy bars around in my vehicle and like was driving in it for an extended period of time at all, meaning 5 minutes or
Uh,
more. And and then didn't consume them like that. I just made a point, like, I don't want to do that.
all right. Let me answer your question. The last time that you did exactly that was never. Like,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
this is the first time. This is the first time that you've intentionally purchased candy bars and decided not to eat them. I
Yeah.
dare you to come up with another example of
No, I
that.
can't. I mean, honestly, if I know my memory is flawed sometimes, but there's just,
It's,
yeah, dude. No, I
I
don't
wasn't.
think so either.
I don't walk around with you every day, but I could I could tell you. I could tell you this shocked me. This story you just told me shocked me, and we've been together 7 months trying to lose 110 pounds. So if you're able to surprise me with that, it means it's never happened before.
Yeah.
I mean, we can guarantee it. This is the first time ever, and not only that, it's the first time ever on a maintenance period for you. So certainly the extra carbs in the other meals has helped you to be able to accomplish that because you're not on a zero carb, which you were never on a zero carb plan. You were always trying to minimize carbs early in the day, late in the day, and in the middle of the day, have your snack, have your carb treat, whatever that would be, usually the candy bars. And you would do that in the middle of the day. And that was what was working well when you were on your routine. And you had that to look forward to midday. And then the beginning and the end was low carb. Now, what you've been doing while you're maintaining is you're having more carbs in your meals and therefore you've tried to cycle away from the candy bars because you knew that would put you over the edge.
Yeah. And I
That would
think it's
add
just
just
like,
too many carbs to your diet.
yeah, on night, I feel like I can get back. I mean, like, unless there's like a special, I mean, like my daughter's birthday, that was like a celebratory day, you know what I mean? But like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I
Well,
should not have a challenge really at this point on a regular routine day. Staying away from carbs in the late part of the day. I think I should be back on that. I feel
mm-hmm.
like I should be good without much challenge in the morning with just a fairly hearty start to the day, heavily based in protein, maybe a little bit of carbs there, but nothing like the candy bar stupidity because I'm starting to really appreciate. Now, I never did before. I never cared enough about to think about it, but I like this whole thing. I'm starting to appreciate how little value other than the 5 seconds of enjoyment. Like, I'm 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 just tearing through carbs like it's my job and it's gone and like this. And like, if I can just structure the meals, I don't even know if it's a great strategy for me to long term do the middle of the day as treats. I think slower, maybe a little bit of carbs with my protein in the morning, and then
Uh-huh.
light carb with protein in the midday, and then probably all protein at night with my sugar-free snacks. Like at
That
the
would be
nightcap.
awesome.
And I think that
That
might
would
be
be
the new
fantastic.
approach. I
That
think
would
that's
be
enough to keep me
amazing. That
satisfied.
would be
On
better.
the flavor.
That would be better. That would be better than what you've been doing. Even better than what you were doing when you were losing weight with the midday candy bar bonanza.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would
Having
be.
and also having carbs, having some carbs in the early in the day, in the morning, and then in the middle of the day, making that meal more enjoyable, both of those meals more enjoyable, give something to fuel you early and in the middle, and at night you don't need anything to fuel you. Your bedtime is going to be around the corner. You're
Yep.
trying to reduce carbs as low as you can at night, so that way when you fast, which is when you're asleep, you're able to burn fat. You're able to not have those carbs just resting in your system and ultimately being stored as fat because they're not going to be used. So that nighttime low carb is the best approach. And then if you spread your carbs, those first two meals, you just spread your carbs out to the point where it's not an overabundance of carbs. You'll give yourself a limit, whatever it is that you feel is going to be satisfactory. 40 grams would be fantastic. If you could make it 40 grams, that would be amazing. But if it has to be more, you're going to try more.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not there to spoon feed you, and even if I were, you wouldn't let me. So
yeah, it would be a good wrestling match for sure. I think you would eventually overtake me,
yeah,
but I have some
at least.
strong will too. Probably get me in good shape.
Yes.
Yeah, I think like moderating some carbs in the first meal and second meal
Mhm.
is enough, probably. And this wasn't really a strategy I was ever looking at before, but I think the moderation approach and the mentality of right now just accepting that I'm in a maintenance phase, but definitely not trying to go up, like kind of opened my mind naturally to this. And obviously the results aren't super sexy right now this week, but I am optimistic that the control thing with the candy bars is now where it needs to be with this plan. I want to see how this goes this week without, a day of celebration. Should be a more
Yes.
stable week in general. And yeah, I mean, with that mentality of kind of structuring the meals that way, instead of putting everything in the bank on that middle meal and just going crazy town
Yes.
for one time a day, I mean, it's almost making it harder. Like, I think I can use less carbs. I mean, a fraction of the carbs that I would pack into that middle meal, I can just spread it out and
Yeah.
have less overall, and still feel quite satisfied. So that's kind of the angle I'm going this week, and I think it's going to be a good week.
I think that's amazing. I think that's going to be better. I mean, that's better than anything you've done so far, because if it's sustainable for you, if you feel as if you're satisfied by doing that, it's going to be incredibly effective, because you're limiting your carbs in those first two meals. It's not a high carb meal, but it's not a no carb meal. And then that last meal is going to be low carb. And that's going to get you much lower in carbs overall than you were doing the other approach where you were eating 3 or 4 candy bars and the carbs were much higher than what that total would be combining those two meals. But you'll still be able to enjoy those two meals.
Yep.
That's the point, is like you've become accustomed to eating very high protein meals with no carbs. So when you're throwing in some carbs, it's like now you've conditioned yourself to what that's like. It's like the carbs are a delicacy. So you add 40 grams of carbs and it turns everything
I mean,
around. It's like, wow,
it's crazy. And I would have used
that feels like a treat. Yeah, it feels
I would have had probably 3 times that in one meal, every meal. But
easy.
now, like,
Easy.
yeah, like a
Right.
more reasonable approach than ever. Quantity and like total quantity and carb quantity. Like, and a lot of it too is just because the emotional stuff. Like, the quantity I get or used to get was a lot higher because I was pretty much just living by moment to moment emotion instead of actually being disciplined at all and having as much control as I do right now and thought into things, how each meal affects the week and how a day and how each day affects the week. Like, it's all starting to catch, I feel like, and come together.
Man, What's gotten into you?
I don't,
To who am
I
I
don't know.
talking to now?
I know. Like,
The-
I
what you
didn't
just
think that
said
there was a
about
way I could
discipline
actually.
I almost say those words to me.
Yeah,
Neither did I.
I didn't think that I would
Oh my
actually,
goodness.
get out of this conversation with you without a scolding. But like, I'm not lying to get out of trouble. I'm telling you what, like, from the heart, like, what's up, you know?
Yeah. No, I
And
feel it. I believe that you're onto something based on your experience. That's why doing this every week for the past 7 months, you can't help but learn a lot.
yeah,
And that's just with your own experimenting every week as to what works for you. What's realistic for you? What's realistic for you is not realistic for me, is not realistic for anybody else that's watching. It's realistic for you. That's the reason why you're doing this. You're going through the process of seeing what can I get away with? What is it that makes me comfortable? What is it that I can't get away with? And I want to see what those numbers are and then try to come up with a routine that I feel comfortable with. That's exactly what you've been doing this entire time. You've been molding it, trying to perfect it. And now, during this maintenance phase, you're making progress in that regard because you're looking at how you're eating, you're seeing how you feel. You've come to the conclusion by the grace of God that these candy bars,
literally,
are not worth
no,
the amount of
it's
effort
not.
that you're putting into eating them
There's
because
nothing.
they don't last long enough to make it worthwhile. They just don't last long enough.
They
It's
don't.
just too short. It's like
It's a,
you eat them, you eat two of them, and like in a minute you're done.
it's done.
And it's like I've already consumed 500 calories. Like this is absurd, right?
I'm injecting myself with horrible, horrible stuff when I do that. And it's like, and that's like emotion, right? Like, that's like,
Yeah,
I'm like hinging everything
it's all
on.
emotion.
And so, like, my order when I, get breakfast is not what it would have used to be in my former life. I don't need all the stuff. I don't need the, the
Right.
side item all the time. I don't need the drink to come with it. Like, I don't know, man. I'm like ready to call my shot that I'm going down next week, dude. Like, I'll tell you that right now. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna be less than 335 next
man.
week, dude.
Oh my God, dude. I love hearing that. It wasn't going to come from me. If after we got into this week, seeing where your head is at, it couldn't be better. It really could not.
I don't understand it.
Far more than I expected.
Yeah,
coming out of you off of a.
Yeah, say it.
Why?
It's okay. Say it. I'm head up with it, dude. I'm reaching levels.
Look, I accept it for what it is, dude. I'm not going to try. I'm definitely not trying to talk you out of it. You know full well that I'm congratulating you on coming to the conclusions that ultimately you would have to come to if you're paying attention the past 7 months. And you have.
It only took 7 months to talk me down from
remember,
5
you're
candy
changing
bars.
Habits. Yeah. But these habits have been ingrained for almost 50 years. We're talking about something that's lasted a lifetime. So it's not going to happen in 7 days. It's going to take a while to be able to get to the conclusion. And not only that, train yourself to eat a different way and to think a different way and to come to these conclusions on your own. Because once you believe it, once you're the one that makes that decision, it's over, man. It's happening.
Yeah.
That's, nobody can force anyone to do what they don't want to do. That's a losing proposition. You might as well change direction and just start working on yourself at that point. Don't be trying to force your will onto anyone else. That's not going to help. It's not going to change anything. But when somebody comes to that conclusion on their own, then there's no stopping them. When somebody comes to that conclusion on their own, then there's no stopping them. But there is stopping this conversation because Jeff has vanished. I don't know if I lost. Yeah, he's back. Hello? Hello? Talk. Speak. I can't hear you. Ah! I see you, but I don't hear you. I think you're going to have to call me and then try logging in again. Maybe it'll work, because it did work before. Oh, hello there.
Hi there.
It's so nice to hear your voice. So try logging in. Hello.
Chat don't see you, but I hear you.
Ah!
This can't all be my phone right now. I can't let the phone take all the heat right now.
I want to see your phone so bad. You don't know how badly I want to get my hands on it. Oh! Hello? But I can't hear you.
Please. Come on, man. Come on. Just work, dude.
Yes.
All right, brother, we're going to leave well enough alone.